Don't let fear dictate your life. I think it's a no-go. Life is what it is. It can be complicated, can go up, can down. And I think that's the definition of life. But if you let your life and your dreams and your feelings being dictated by fear, I think you have a very bad foundation to express yourself in this thing called life.
Every life has a spark, a truth the heart never forgets.
And sometimes one conversation is enough to bring it back.
No ego, no noise, just real insights that inspire and brighten the path ahead.
Because living with love isn't an idea, it's a choice that we make every day.
So today we talk about the one place we all need, home. Rents are exploding, supply is shrinking, and buildings create 40% of CO2 emissions, while millions of families struggle for dignity. And yet, some people look at this and say, we can rebuild it sustainable, affordable, and human first.
So our guests today are David Hemminga and Maarten Vooijs. They are the co-founders of CO, a cooperative rethinking how we live. Carbon negative homes, community driven models, and a vision that puts people and planet back at the center. They are building homes up to 40% faster with lower emission, lower costs, and a structure where municipalities, workers, and residents all share the value. This is more than real estate. It's a blueprint for how humanity could live. Dave Maarten, welcome. So before CO, they were you too. So let's start there.
So welcome from my side as well. What was the moment you actually realized deep inside of you the way the world builds homes is broken and I must act on that?
What I realized is when I moved to Portugal that quite some friends of mine, they were living in very beautiful houses close to the ocean, living the dream. Whereas I have chosen to live in nature for a while. And we were living in simply a simple house, but very particularly insulated. A lot of times I visit my friends with those beautiful houses, and I always felt uncomfortable in their houses. And it really made me think, why does one person spend so much money to live in a cold house with humidity? And I started to think, that must be better to get value for your money. So I got very curious and I started to research why this was. And I was really confronted with a sad story is that concrete in itself is a very cold material and it really puts humans in boxes, so to speak. And it's very hard to get a comfortable life in those houses unless we spend a lot of money and effort getting artificial expenses, technology like air conditionings involved. And if we involve floor heating and etc. And it really made me a bit aware of the situation that we build wrong. We create by default something that is not very comfortable. And once it's built, it takes a lot of effort to make it again comfortable and the standard of living to a decent level. And that was the first trigger that I thought I can do this better.
Right. And for you, Maarten?
Well, hello, Sveta and Ben. Thank you for having us, first of all. I moved from the Netherlands to Portugal a little bit under 4 years ago. We were searching for a different lifestyle. We had spent the first 30-something years of our lives in the Netherlands, where housing is also a big issue. There's little space for too many people. This is one of the biggest problems in the Netherlands. And I was always very surprised by the way the spatial rules and the way the Netherlands act in using the space. It was obviously not the choice I would have made, I would say, because I also believe that next to practical, living in a house should be very, very comfortable with spacious setups. Really think about the routing of the people living in there, the way they can connect within the house. And that really touches actually my business perspective so far in my career. where as serial entrepreneur in Holland, I've been always focused on connecting people together in teams for different companies, different startups set up by myself with a team. And I love how people, when they act from their strength and they find each other, the magic comes out. Um, and here in Portugal, I must say the way people are connected to each other and the way the social fabric is set within the culture, it's much more about relationships and trust, togetherness, actually, much
Mm.
more than we can feel in reality in the Netherlands, at least from my experience. For example, in Holland, we put people away when they become elder into nursery homes. I was really surprised starting living in Portugal that the only people that were put away in nursing homes were actually the people from abroad, whereas the Portuguese people themselves, they take the family in-house, they take care of each other, and they're much more community driven, sort of speak. And that was really one of the points I would like to elaborate more on and try to set up a new model of living, actually, together with Dave, of course.
And when you think of that moment, what emotion still lives in your chest?
Maybe in one word, when I think about that moment that you wanted to do something different, so what was the emotion inside your heart?
Yeah, for me, it was a quite simple conclusion, but very, it hit me pretty hard that we are just not aligned with nature, and that's struck me because I was living inside nature for 8 years. I was very close to nature, loving it, looking at the housing industry being so destructive in a way. So I felt responsibility to as a legacy. Not just for my family to build a nice, healthy home. No, I wanted to make a change, and I want other people to experience that as well. Plus, we want to change this industry together with partners and colleagues. So I felt like an urge to prove a point here.
For me, the word would be stewardship, and that's actually my perspective on life. I really feel that we should be thinking of leaving things better behind than we found them, for the next generation. So leave a legacy in a very
I love that.
vital meaning, actually. Not only neutralize things or balance things out, but really try to make things better than they are at the moment. So stewardship for me is the word.
Hmm. And when did this stop being an idea and become a calling that you could no longer ignore?
We are drilling you deep today, guys. Yes.
For me, it was in May 2020, I believe. I lost my project in nature. I created an eco glamping, and I had a wildfire that in southern Europe sometimes occur, and I lost all my investment, little paradise, over one night. And so for me, it was, or I go back to Amsterdam, or I'm gonna follow my dream, and I'm gonna
Mhm.
build a house for my family. And luckily enough, we found a piece of land that we are allowed to do 24 houses for 24 families, putting the bar high for ourselves, but with also the understanding that we make more impact, so to speak. Why not build for other like minded people a beautiful house? That was really the intention. It was a very practical call to action.
Mhm.
Okay.
So it's kind of, so Dave mentions the word lucky. So you kind of pointing as a coincidence. But at that moment, or maybe now, what's awakening inside of you if you think back of these things? Is it fate which awakens, that there is something bigger waiting for you instead of your small project which we have in life? So what is that? How would you name it? Or is it dignity and hope for to give families? Like what was this thing? What we do they?
No, for me personally, I really believe that I believe in fate, Sweta, meaning that for me, I think when you're open for certain connections, meet new people, the universe will bring it to you. And I really feel that what happens with Dave. And if I
Yeah.
look from my perspective, where the last 2 years brought us, it's unbelievable. Dave did a wonderful job connecting partners and people with certain specialties for what we're about to do, to first himself personally, and after to the first seeds of the brand Living by Co. If we look at the current moment, we're with over 10 colleagues already. We are building. Our first project of 24 houses is licensed, and we are starting up the construction process there. And we really feel that when you, from the right intention, you start
Yeah.
something new, a flying wheel effect will come to play, and that's exactly why we're here, actually.
Setting out an intention, dreaming out loud, visualizing certain stories, so to speak, was always very important. And so for me, I really think slowing down, being not in the red race, really opened my heart and my vision, so to speak. So I was living slower, and I also got to know myself and my family better. If I look back, an immense good experience. I'm not anymore living at that location, obviously, due to the wildfire, but I learned a lot about life itself, sharing and caring. For me, it's very clear that if you stay close to yourself and put an intention, which, yeah, some people call it a dream, but for me, it's putting an intention and really meditate or focus on that. And when it's close to yourself, other people sense that. So I'm radiating this entrepreneurial. Some people call me crazy, but I don't care. And it's not just good for my family. It's also good for the neighborhood. It's for the local community. It's good for nature. And so for me, it's checking a lot of boxes. So it's, if I choose one word, it's really like setting the right intention, and then don't get distracted. Just go for it. And I found absolute like-minded warriors that put their shoulders under it, and together we can really make a change. That's absolutely, I have no doubt about it. I've learned that in the past with the volunteers that helped me run the eco glamping, and it's unbelievable how much a community organically can grow.
Yeah.
But you have to have a purpose. You have to have set the right intention.
Right. So you don't build houses, guys. Let's be honest. You build belonging, affordability, dignity, communities. And you were talking about deeper purpose from inside of you, right? But many people struggle to dare to be who they are. So what would you say, give an advice to those who are still kind of doing something but not yet unleashed the fullness of their purpose? Like, how could they unleash it fully? Maybe some advice from you.
Don't be afraid. Don't let fear dictate your life. Life is what it is. It can be complicated, can go up, can down, and I think that's the definition of life. But if you let your life and your dreams and your feelings being dictated by fear, I think you have a very bad foundation to express yourself in this thing called life. Single best advice could be follow your dreams, please. Most important.
What happens to you is not who you are. So these are two different things. And too often we become what overcomes us. And in my last 10 to 15 years, I think life is much more about career. It's about unfolding yourself and developing yourself, trying to search for what is driving you actually. And following that path is very exciting, as well as feels a bit dangerous sometimes. But the most important advice from my side, if um, make a separation between who you are and what happens to you. So you either have a learning moment or you have a successful moment, but it's never failure. It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And I think in society worldwide, we're too much focused in many parts of the world on trying to control things that are outside of our control. Fear is around the corner, as well as loneliness with the digitalization and all the trends that come with it. I think this is the great moment and really a turning point for worldwide society to rethink the way we live and by what values you want to live.
And you chose in your business model, you chose very clearly for the cooperative path and partnership over competition. So what truth made you choose for collaboration in your foundation?
We've chosen for a cooperative setup since we really feel it aligns with the purpose and with the values we see in life as a whole. Bringing people together, bringing vitalizing ways of living together by using sustainable and as many ecological products as possible in building homes and districts and neighborhoods. Our corporate model we've chosen has come quite a long way already in Portugal. It might seem a bit unknown, but it's actually not. And we found it's still said to be an innovative way to go here in Portugal. But that's also because of the background of the society here, of course, with the recent history in the 70s and 80s. All of society changed just 30 years ago. So it's still in the fabric of people, and they're just finding out these new ways of organizing. One of the basic values of cooperative setup is collaboration, level playing field. So not only economical gain, which is very important to make your motor running, of course, but it's a democratic way of organizing yourselves on a level playing field. And it's also because we feel in this way, it's also strongly about the human values, the togetherness, and in the same time securing the purpose of what we're trying to reach with Living by Co. The way we set up the organizational model, completely within the framework, of course, of the Portuguese law here. But the way we are offering our financial products is very similar to equity, and everything is thought of in the same way. So the risk mitigation, including the returns, involvement of investors,
Mhm.
and also exit strategies to enter and exit the partnership, the future partnership we're looking for.
What does CO actually stands for?
If people dare to zoom out your own life span, but look at your ancestors, your family next after you, and the people and their children and their children. But if you zoom out a little bit and you can have a little bit more time frame, and let's zoom out a little bit of this rock flying through the cosmos called Earth. You can see this globe. We're in it together. This is simple. We are in it together. So we have to do more stuff together with different values. I think we're now. If I zoom out and I see all this tension going forth, back and forth, I think it's quite a waste of our natural resource, and a lot of energy that got lost on unnecessary things. And so, co for me stands for, come on, let's do things together.
Ah, nice. Come on.
Of course, we need our individuality, we need this, but we are in it together. So that's what we try to do, to see, like, can we take that to the next level? How can we partner? We can make a better future. It sounds
Mhm.
almost too good to be true, but we have to start. We have to do now, and we can do it. It's not so hard.
Bravo. We have to change. You say that, not the others. We have to change. I love that, guys. I love you all already. No, and also, when we zoom out, then we see how unimportant we are. We're just the dust. If you zoom more
Exactly.
out and we're just the dust. Just the dust.
Yeah.
So I have a very fun question for you too. Are you already living in one of your CO houses or not yet?
We have built a nice showroom, I must say. It's a place that stands on the project grounds of our 24 houses. It's really the experience of the air quality, the acoustics, the smell, and the way the ecological product play with your senses when you're inside. So the way we build our houses is reflected in this showroom, and now we're really far with our first house that will be finished early January. We've seen it as a pilot house where we could actually practice the first time with our techniques. So it was a really great pilot case to get used to building with the techniques of which we have the intellectual property actually from a Dutch company that exists for a long time already. So it's nothing new, but we try to keep research and development running to get the techniques better, but also the cycle time of production and construction. So we are able to shorten all these cycles, which makes it less impactful to both people and the environment, and leaves us with a lot of time to play, develop ourselves and the products we develop.
What part of your personal journey shaped this mission the most?
So for me, it's about stewardship in personal development, in sustainability of nature, people, and not only try to neutralize things, but really try to make things stronger and better, and make it really sustainable for the future.
It got to do with be persistent and inspire others to join the journey. When I believe in something, I want to see it successful, and I want other people to enjoy that. And I love it if we can inspire others to do the same.
Nice. Inspiration is so important. And now, what do you think people are really searching when they're looking for a house? Is it belonging, future, safety? What is it? What are they really looking for?
I think housing on itself, it's so interesting since it's one of the most expensive consumer products that you come across in your life, as well as being an absolute primary necessity for the quality of life. So I think it's quite strange how the building industry has developed itself, totally focusing on economical gain, actually,
Mm.
Yeah.
whereas housing is such a chance to be vitalizing, and not only in a perspective of community living together, but also in the materials used, the sustainability of materials, but also the house structure itself. So I really believe that should be the focus. How do we change the way the current infrastructures are organized in a way that it becomes sustainable and vitalizing, actually? Not neutralizing things, but vitalizing things. That's a total
Mhm.
different aspect, if you ask me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, in
So,
a nutshell, we could say, a house is a shelter. Being a critical person, I just saw that people just build wrong, and it's just unacceptable. We can use all our beautiful values and buy houses and have sea view, but then again, what can you do with a house in the summer or in the winter that you just don't feel comfortable? What are we doing here? We need to feel healthy in our house.
Yeah.
The first time I was in a house with similar techniques built in the Netherlands, in Eindhoven, I was flabbergasted. I was so shocked that outside it was 40, 42, 45 degrees. I stepped inside and it was such a nice temperature. It was, we felt like, this moment where you
Mhm.
come from extreme heat, you come
Yeah.
in the nice temperature, you're like, wow. So that wow. And then so I
Mhm.
asked him the first question, oh, you have a nice air conditioning. And he said, no, I don't have
Mm.
air conditioning. I don't need air conditioning. And I almost could not believe him. And for me, that was the journey of meeting a wonderful technique that we
Yeah.
adapted. Make this system better and better and better. So it serves as much as possible people.
and if I may add to that, I also think that the building industry is very intransparent. What we are doing is try to fasten the cycles of construction and production and development. But next to that, make it also more transparent so there will be more innovation throughout the industry to come to more sustainable solutions in a shorter period of time.
And if you look at it a bit bigger, so everything you are building, assume that it all succeeds. And CO truly reshapes how humanity lives on this planet. What kind of human being do you hope you will walk or you will meet? Because they grew up in the communities that you created.
Yeah, I would say I'm coming back, Ben, again on stewardship. I think if we all live by the perspective of leaving it better than we found it, and we see life as a path and an adventure of development, developing ourselves and our society, communities. I think we did a pretty great job.
Oh, that's amazing. So it's definitely some inner change. Like you said, we must change. So if people live in such homes, they also must be a bit different. So what is it, David? How do you see them?
I really know because of the research we've done that the effect that our builds have on you as a person are unbelievable in terms of air quality and the health that it brings. Living in acoustically safe, frequency safe, only natural products used, actually. It has a big effect on health. And I also believe that body and mind is one. So
Yes.
our body is actually steering the mind and not the other way around. So I really believe when the effect on your body is better, of higher quality, in balance with the ecologics around us, then it will bring also mental health.
Do you think they will be more loving and peaceful?
They don't feel they're not fighting their health. They're not fighting some kind of reflection of their own sound. They don't breathe in some chemicals that are in the paint. So it really helps people feel more comfortable. So really, if we really do our best and we really care about about our legacy and about other people, if we care for other people and we put that in a product,
And I certainly believe that Portugal is a beautiful starting point for the living by co purpose, because the social weavage of people living together, high quality of life, taking care of each other, family, connecting, really connecting on a personal base. So I truly believe this is one of the best starting points in the world for our purpose.
We can round the conversation. So people want to be happy, right? That's what they're looking for, also in their homes. And Europe needs 10 million new homes. Families needs affordability. The planet needs lower emissions. And you guys are redesigning the future.
Exactly. And to our global investors, real transformation begins where people live. And so you guys are not only building structures, you're building a new model for humanity.
And what I can say to you, Dave Maarten, thank you very much, because your mission is very much needed. And I believe it's just the beginning to inspire many others to come. Thank you for joining us today and sharing courageous your vision from the heart. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks, Martin.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See you in Portugal. Bye-bye.
Thank you for sharing this space with us today.
Remember, real impact begins the moment you stop running from who you are.
Let today's story remind you that every soul carries light, even through darkness.
Until next time, stay open, stay human, and lead with love.